Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Unlimited Life podcast with ZMAHOON and Aaron McKenzie. We are really excited to have you here today. We are going to talk about something really important today, and it's something that so many people get confused, myself included. I used to get this confused all the time, but we're going to talk about the difference between love and pain. And we're going to talk about why it's important to know the difference and what the outcome is for us if we are aware of the difference. So, hi Zara.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Fantastic.
That's amazing. So, Zara, you know that you and I had this conversation recently. So, some people may be thinking love and pain, they're not the same things. Why are you comparing those? So, can you just tell us, why are we talking about the difference between love and pain?
Of course I will. Okay, so here's the thing. As I'm coaching people, I've discovered that a lot of times people confuse love with pain. And when I say that, here's what I mean. I'll be talking to someone and they'll say to me, I love that person so much that it hurts. And I'm like, wait a second. Does it hurt or is it love? Because love is a very clear emotion. Love does not hurt. Love makes you feel good. Love feels like joy. Love feels like peace inside. Love feels like sunshine. Love feels like a beautiful warmth all over you. So if you're feeling pain, you can't be feeling love at the same time. Pain feels like something went wrong. Pain feels like a jab in my heart. Well, a heart that is bleeding is not a heart that is loving. So, the reason we confuse this is because there's a very fine line between love and not loving. It's so fine, the distinction in our minds is almost not there. And the reason the distinction is not there is because we go from one emotion to another emotion so quickly, it takes us only 4 seconds to think a complete thought. Can you imagine that? In 4 seconds, you're jumping. And some people, their minds move so quickly that they're jumping from one thought to another thought in 2 seconds. So 1 minute or 1 second, I was thinking of this person with fondness, with love. I was feeling the warmth that I feel when I think about them. And in the very next second, I feel the pain of their not being there. Because for whatever reason, we broke up, they went away, and now I'm hurting because I feel that they may not come back. What should I do in order to make them come back? And all those kinds of emotions are going through my head. Well, when you're asking those questions, you're not sending the vibration of love from your person. You are sending the vibration of fear out of your... Yes, that pain is actually fear of loss. Fear that I have lost and I will never get back, or fear that, things are going wrong. That's fear, that's not love. So people get these two emotions mixed up. The problem is, and the reason I always point it out, and Aaron, while you and I were discussing, this is why I pointed it out to you, is because if you feel the pain of a relationship, you are actually pushing that relationship away. And this is what people do not realize. They don't realize that their pain means they're pushing the very thing that they want the most in life. They want this person, they love them so much, but the pain is actually pushing this person away. It's not bringing them to you. So you have to find a way to deal with the pain, because pain is not going to give you what you want. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. So, if any of us, for example, if we have somebody in our life that we love in any way, and let's say we got into an argument, let's say that both of us said things that were hurtful or we acted in a way that was hurtful to each other. But let's say that we want to restore and repair our relationship with this person. How do we stop thinking about the painful events or the things that hurt? Because what you're saying is if we keep thinking about those things, it will actually push that person away further, right?
Yes.
So would a good strategy be to just think about all of the beautiful things about the relationship instead of focusing on the negative? Is that what you're saying?
I actually recommend not thinking about that person at all, because what happens, and we don't realize it, and again, nobody's at fault, but this happens to most of us, we start thinking positively, but then something reminds us that that person's not in our life, and now we start missing them. And missing someone is painful. That's not love. So what happens is, in our minds, we have no demarcation between what feels like love when we are thinking about that person that we care about and what is pain or missing them. So the good thoughts invariably lead us towards missing the person, and now we are on the wrong side of the equation.
And this is where we get off the subject entirely.
And that's true, because as long as we stay on the subject, we are adding negative energy to something that has already gone wrong. Adding more negative energy to it is not going to bring it back.
And this is probably where a lot of people get stuck, right, Zara?
Yes, that's so true, because we don't know how to get off the subject, because part of loving someone is thinking about them. Right? Part of loving someone is thinking about them. I love you, so I think about you. I sent you text messages. I email you. I talk to you. I think about what I'm going to say to you when I meet you next. But I'm not supposed to think about you? How is that even possible? I love you. I have to think about you. So what happens is we start thinking positively, and then invariably we go towards the pain. Oh my God, but they won't be home tonight and I won't see them. And what if they never call me again? So our mind goes towards those kinds of thoughts, and now suddenly you're thinking negatively and you don't realize it. Sometimes people go off on an autopilot and they don't even know that they are thinking negatively while they're zoned off. So here I am, I'm making a meal for myself maybe, but my thoughts are somewhere else and I don't even know where they are. And then suddenly I come back to what I'm doing and I'm like, oh, where did the last 10 minutes of my life go? I don't even know where I was, right? And so that's when we go negative and we don't realize it. So it's important to learn what to do.
Great, thank you so much. So is it fair to say that understanding the difference between love and pain is extremely important, not only so that we can repair relationships that where something may have gone wrong, but knowing the difference between love and pain is so important to maintain and continue to grow our relationships in our lives with anybody that we love. Is that true?
Absolutely. It is true. So as soon as you find yourself feeling the pain or going negative, feeling worry, or being frustrated with your partner. Let's say you're just frustrated. You wanted them to behave a certain way and they didn't. And now you just keep thinking about that in your head all day. You are creating more problems in your relationship.
And I know that I learned from you, Zara, that the reason why almost any relationship dissolves is because one person or both people start noticing something negative about the other one. And then, even though their intention is to love the other person, their attention and focus goes towards the negative things they're noticing about the other person.
Yeah. So even small things, Aaron, can become a huge problem. For example, I'll just make up something. So, for example, you always leave your coffee mug on the counter, can you not take 1 minute and rinse it out and put it in the dishwasher? Right?
Yes.
So soon as you pay attention to that, and now you keep thinking about it, why can't he or she just do it? Why do I have to tell them? Right? And so now you start harping on that. Next thing you know, you end up having an argument with them because you've generated so much negative momentum.
So if I notice that somebody I love is doing something that I don't like, is it also true that the more I focus on that, the more I will bring that out of them?
Yes, absolutely. And so I actually teach this in a program called the Heart and Mind Alignment Program, which is that there's a difference between intention and attention.
I love this one.
Right? Your intention is not to destroy your relationship. Your intention is to love the person that you're with, but your attention is on something negative. The universe does not give you what you intend. The universe will always give you whatever your attention is on. So it's really important to understand the difference between these two concepts, intention and attention. I have to line my attention up with my intention, and when I do that, that's when I am being positive. So in that example, how do I do that? When I'm talking about the coffee mug left on the counter, how can I align my intention with my attention? I can say, well, oh, look at that. They left the coffee mug there. That's okay. They must be in a hurry. It's all right. You know what? Everyone does these kinds of things. And I have 2 minutes. I can put it away. It's not a problem. Right? So what I done is I've diffused the problem. I haven't let it become a problem. So it won't. But if I had said, oh, look at that. Don't do that. How many times do I have to tell you? Now I've taken it and created a problem because my intention is to have that person put it into the dishwasher, but my attention is on the fact that they are not.
And this is this discussion about attention versus intention. I mean, we can do an entire episode on that.
No, we won't. No, we won't, Aaron, because if you want to learn more about it, just come and join the course.
Good point, Sarah. You are so cute. So let me talk for just so. Is this a reach to the point where we want to summarize this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we talked about love and pain. So so I want to summarize. You summarize, but what the results are. So the results for love and pain. You know, like maintaining and growing the relationship we have, saving relationships that we don't want to go down the gutter, that kind of thing. So I'll ask you the summarized question now.
Okay.
Fantastic, Zara. Thank you so much. If you can we summarize what we've talked about so that our listeners know? Hold on, I don't like that. Awesome, Zara. So let's summarize this discussion on the difference between love and pain for our listeners.
Absolutely. I think the one thing that I want everyone who's listening to take away from this discussion is that there's a difference between love and the pain of love. They're not the same vibration. And if you want to repair a relationship, or if you want to make an existing relationship stronger, you have to understand the difference between loving and pain. If it feels like pain, it's not love you're feeling. And then the work you have to do is to bring yourself back to love. And you do that in two ways. You can do that by thinking positively about the relationship. But if you find that thinking about the relationship positively invariably leads you to missing the person, then don't do so. just get off the subject. So that's the second way you do it, is to get off the subject, which means every time I start thinking about this person, I'm going to stop, breathe, and then I'm going to find something else to talk about or appreciate. Because when I get off their subject, I am now no longer sending out a negative vibration. And when I don't send them a negative vibration, that's how I can bring them closer to me. Nobody wants to come closer to you if you're sending them a negative vibe. But people will gravitate to you when you're sending them a positive vibe. You just have to know the difference. The pain of love is negative. The joy of love is positive.